is Darlene Doe. I will be doing my presentation on Richard Corben and his color technique. So a few works that he did art for Aliens Alchemy and Aliens vs. Predator War for the Dark Horse comics, also worked with Heavy Metal magazine. Corben also collaborated with sci-fi author Harlan Ellison for her to continue the novel A Boy and His Dog, and the graphic novella Vic and Blood. He also did a graphic novel, Blood Stars, and illustrated the famous Bat Out of Hell album right here, which is pretty dope. So first things first, I found this interview on raggedclaws.com. This interview with Richard Corben is from 1973 from the Mirkwood Times, number 4. Number 5, basically talking a bit of his color layouts for his newer undergrounds. And he basically explained that he basically explained that he did all the color for Fanagore 2, most of the color for Fanagore 3, and all of the color for Fanagore 4. For Fanagore 2, he used a zip tone color on one strip and a graphics color shade system on specifically To Spear a Fair Maiden strip. So basically, these tools are super outdated graphic design materials, like Zipatone, where you can just place a half dot screen across an area of a black and white illustration. And then here are some more images of To Spear a Maiden. I got this from muta.net. Then he continues on with the interview saying that for Fanagore 3's color, it was done with Zipatone on overlays. And then how he will utilize his copy camera for Fanagore 4, 5, 6, as well as Grimwit's 2 colors. But basically, an overlay is just a clear piece of acetate, and it's taped on top of the original artwork. And basically, these images are attached to the acetate and then placed over the top of the original art. And then having it taped will help just reveal the art underneath, so you can just lift up the acetate. I also found this YouTube video called Richard Corben's Amazing Color Process by Ellis Goodson, talking about how Richard Corben will start with a black mask, which is just the opaque black area here, and then basically you break it into images here, and then these are overlays that will be folded per exposure. With this copy camera in this corner right here, this is copy camera that Richard Corben owned, but it's a per exposure to produce like the strength of the original negative. And then basically, so like the last black overlay will be the greatest concentration of color, so it'll be like the darkest color. And then so you're required to just have multiple exposure work for each of the 4 negatives. And then so then this is how it would look like for each exposure, adding more and more, and then it'll come to a complete piece. But to simple it up, from Richard Corben himself in a conversation with Brad Balfour in Heavy Metal number 53, what basically stands out from his color process is because he had a system of color overlays, which apparently nobody can understand, but it's really very simple. He continues by saying, the luminescent quality of my color overlay is derived from the way he combines the color. He he shoots the photomechanical separations himself, and then to slightly higher contrast than a normal photo engraver would do. So this would make the colors appear brighter. And he said, I'm excited when I do finally see the colors. I can see if my ideas work well or not so well. So he definitely experimented a lot. He did his own color separations. And his last line is just very funny. I can see if my ideas work well or not so well. Which also brings me into this guy. His name is Jose Villarrubia, and he had some comments about Richard Corben's color work. I found this website on Strange Animals. The article is called "Is It Supposed to Look Like That?" by Aditya Bidikar. So basically, this article talks about how different and outdated the old color guides are, and how color reconstruction works. So here are, this is one of the color guides. This is the old ones. And basically what they do is photocopy the art and mark out the colors based on this chart. So then the printer would construct the color plates. And this is why we get a lot of people saying comics are just old, because it's not the original pigment. It's also printed on a paper, so it'll fade and yellow over time. So the colors aren't really as great as they can be. And then basically then the image next to that one is the digital reconstruction by a modern colorist, saying this is what it's supposed to look like now. And then specifically, Jose had this Facebook series called From a Colorist's Perspectives, where he talks about the reprints of older comics and their use of the reconstructed color. And this is one of his Facebook posts about Richard Corben specifically. This image is from the Dark Horse Creepy Presents Richard Corben, the story Judas from Creepy number 6. And he basically restored it and even located as much of the original art as possible. And he just basically said it was a disaster, and that Corben did paint directly on the pages, and that he's not so sure how Warren reproduced oil paintings in their cover. So he does question their printing and color. And also some other comments that notices these images here. Basically, let's see, the original is here on the left. The details as possible without changing the colors is the middle, and then the right one is how it was printed. So you can obviously tell there's a big difference. I also found some comments under that post, like Gregory Wright, where he notices how maybe some of the dyes and the paints, just like the old scanners, just could not read properly. And thus, that's why areas that are mainly brown, they used to be red and green and vibrant. And also another one from Adriano Moraes, he talked about how there was a decrease in the yellow magenta, while increasing the black and the cyan, as you can see here. And then another is talking about the red, how the last frame is less red, the middle is more, and then the top ones lose all the magenta and all the green colors, and then how they turn gray or blue. But yeah, you can definitely tell that there's a big difference. But yeah, that's really much it about Richard Corben and his color process. And I really appreciate it. Thank you.